2 people shot and killed in Hillsborough. One of them, a 16-year-old girl. What friends and family are telling us happened, including hearing dozens of gunshots.
Setup is underway for WRAL First Night Raleigh. What you need to know to join in on the fun and the experience that's all new this year.
Sunny and warm weather comes ahead of a cool down. All time out the next chance for rain and when temperatures dip back down into the 30s.
We are staying on top of developing news in Hillsborough. 2 people are dead after a shooting on Cardinal Drive. One of them, a 16-year-old girl. The other, a 20-year-old man. Sky 5 over that scene this afternoon where investigators found their bodies. Thanks for joining us tonight at 7 o'clock. I'm Dan Haggerty.
And I'm Ashley Rowe. We're told this shooting happened overnight. The victims are 20-year-old DeAnthony Morgan and 16-year-old Zykera Wardlow. WRAL's Aaron Thomas is live in Orange County. Aaron, you heard from friends and family tonight.
We did, Ashley, and I do want to set the scene for you that we are standing on the same street where that 16-year-old and 20-year-old were found shot to death. It was actually at the end of this road behind us past this hotel. We spoke with the 16-year-old's mother. She said that her daughter, Zykera, had a strict 11 p.m. curfew. She actually went out with some friends to go grab a bite to eat, but she knew something deep down in her gut was not right when she did not hear from her daughter at all. We can show you this video captured just within the past hour. Our camera showing this Dodge Charger being towed away from the scene. If you look closely, you can see both back windows. They're shattered because they were shot out by gunfire. This is also the same vehicle where 16-year-old Zykera Wardlow and 20-year-old DeAnthony Morgan were found shot to death. Witnesses say they heard gunshots last night, but investigators found that teen girl and the 20-year-old man as early as 6:45 this morning. They stayed on scene for about 12 hours today. As you can imagine, this is certainly heartbreaking news for our family members as well as the 16-year-old's best friend, Sophia Hart. She says they both shared the love of basketball.
This is where we grew up at. This is where we played ball at. This is where we did everything at. I mean, we hooped together. We played ball all the time. She taught me how to play ball. She was gonna be a star.
And you ask just about anyone, they will tell you that that young girl always had a basketball in her hand. She had actually been recruited to go to a charter school to play basketball. She was hoping to play on the collegiate level. At this point, police have not released any suspect information, no arrest made. That's when the public comes in and they're asking anyone with any information to come forward.
Aaron, you spoke to the teen's mother off camera. I can only imagine she was heartbroken. What are her thoughts on the investigation?
Yeah, so, I mean, of course, like anyone in this situation like this, she certainly has a lot of questions, wanting to get those answers from investigators. She did say that this her daughter and the 20-year-old knew each other. She doesn't really know any information about a motive. That's what's really hurting her the most. But she's hoping any sort of evidence will be helpful. If you take notice of the area where this young girl and the 20-year-old were shot to death, there's a hotel right across the street. She's hoping any sort of surveillance camera footage will help bring closure in this heartbreaking situation.
Well, we sure hope that she gets her answers. Aaron Thomas, thank you.
A community hit hard by Hurricane Helene suffers another blow. I want to bring your attention to a couple of these pictures. This is out of Avery County. This bridge right here in Avery County connects about 20 residents or so to emergency services, grocery stores, things that people need each and every day. Well, on Sunday, that area received about 3 inches of rain and washed away that bridge right there. Now, emergency services and others in that community, they are working to rebuild that bridge, that makeshift bridge you see there. But right now they have no timetable on when they will finish it.
Oh boy. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. So it was warmer, a little drier today. That's about to change. Another chance for rain is on the way. Things are about to cool down a bit. Mike, not exactly what folks want to hear as they head into their New Year's Eve. But how cold are we talking? How much rain is on the way?
Well, just minimal chances for rain tomorrow evening. And the cold doesn't come till after tomorrow night. So I think if you're going to be heading in this location, this is downtown Raleigh, Fayetteville Street. Quiet now, but this time tomorrow night, quite a few people. Once you get there, temperatures won't be all that bad. We expect them to run in the 50s during the event tomorrow evening. And our changes with this cold front that approaches the area tomorrow evening. Tonight at 7 o'clock, looking rather quiet. This is not a moisture-laden front, meaning there's not going to be a whole lot of rain with it. Not a repeat of what we had yesterday. The better part of the day tomorrow will end up being dry. 6 a.m. we're looking at mostly sunny skies at lunchtime. And then by the time we get to 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, it's about a 30% chance for some spotty rain. And it's quite possible the rain could miss downtown Raleigh, could miss your location as well. And once the front moves through, colder air pours in. Tomorrow's high will be in the upper 60s. But I tell you what, once that front moves on by, that's the end of all the warm air we've had lately. We go back down into the deep freeze. I'll highlight how cold it will be in the coming days coming up.
So we enjoy the warmth while we can. Thank you, Mike. If you're just getting around to the news, let's get you caught up. Here are 5 things you should know right now. Today, family and friends released balloons to honor the life of an 8-year-old boy killed in a drive-by shooting. They held the event at Lake Rim Park in Fayetteville, a place the Gibbs family would visit often. Back in June, Zion Gibbs was inside his home on Danish Drive when dozens of shots were fired outside. One bullet went through the window and hit him. He was playing video games at the time. 2 suspects were arrested in the case. The funeral for the Greensboro police officer shot and killed in a Food Lion will be this Thursday. It's at Westover Church in Greensboro at 2 o'clock. Officer Michael Horan died last Monday. The accused shooter, Terrell McMillan, is charged with first-degree murder.
People hit hard by Hurricane Helene now have more time to apply for federal help. FEMA extended the deadline again, this time to February 6th. You can now apply over the phone or online. Congress just approved $100 billion more for storm relief, which includes North Carolina. The price to take the North Carolina toll roads is about to go up. It's only a few cents per trip, but hey, this stuff adds up, as you know. The toll on the original Triangle Expressway goes up to $4.05. The extension will cost $4.19. And don't forget to pay your late fees or your bills until they get late because those late fees will be going up. That change takes effect on Wednesday. NC State football made some changes today. The team fired its offensive coordinator, Robert Anai. And Anai, he spent 2 seasons with the Wolfpack. Quarterbacks coach Kurt Roper will replace him, and he'll continue coaching the quarterbacks as well. NC State is also looking for a defensive coordinator. Tony Gibson took the head coaching job at Marshall. We're about 1 day away now from the WRAL First Night Raleigh, which means we're about a day away from 2025. Downtown Raleigh is the place to be to ring in the new year. It's going to be fun. You heard Mike. It won't be too cold. It won't be too wet. It's going to be a ton of fun. Ashley and I are going to be down there to celebrate with everyone. If we're not enough for you, fine, I get it. But there are plenty of other reasons to come out. WRAL's Sarah Kruger lines up a few.
Outside in downtown Raleigh and inside, WRAL First Night Raleigh spans multiple venues downtown with bands, stand-up comedy, a parade, and even a silent disco.
A silent disco invites you to put on headphones and you get to select between 3 different DJs that are spinning at once. The first time we hosted the silent disco on first night, it was very popular. The space was filled. We couldn't get people to leave.
Organizers say the event will have all those traditional favorites with some new sprinkled in, like this ride, the Downdraft, that will spin and soar over Fayetteville Street for the first time.
Oh, it's so festive. And I think what's so special about First Night Raleigh is it's just like, it's this one thing that the whole community can come together on. Everyone loves a fresh start. They love ringing in the New Year's. And it just, when you're out here, you'll feel like everyone in Raleigh is here. And it's just, it's so special.
I'm looking forward to just everyone coming downtown, having a great time, bringing the energy, bringing the life to downtown, and just starting off 2025 with a great day.
Organizers recommend making a plan in advance. So check out the schedule, buy your tickets online. We have all the information for how to do that on our website, WRAL.com. Just look for this story. Sarah Kruger, WRAL News, Raleigh.
You see the fireworks, too, in the video. It really is spectacular. It's a lot of fun to see those fireworks go off downtown. And we're going to be covering a bunch of New Year's Eve drops around North Carolina. We're going to talk a lot more about that in just a few minutes.
There's some really interesting ones. But first, the NC State professor who wrote the book on Jimmy Carter joins us here at 7 o'clock. We can learn a lot from his time in the White House. She unpacks the legacy he leaves behind, both politically and personally, after the break. Defining anyone's legacy is difficult. Defining the legacy of a president who lived for 100 years seems impossible. Many will remember President Jimmy Carter for his humble roots, his charity, his single term in the White House. Nancy Mitchell, a former NC State history professor, closely studied his foreign policy, the good and the bad. She wrote a book about it. Today, we talked about how she defines Carter's legacy. Joining me now is Nancy Mitchell. For years, she was a history professor at NC State, just recently retired in the last couple of weeks. She also wrote the book, Jimmy Carter in Africa, Race and the Cold War, one of several works that you have written about the former president. First of all, thank you for being here.
It's really my pleasure. Thanks, Ashley.
So when you first heard the news that Jimmy Carter passed away at 100 years old, what was your reaction?
Well, it's not like, a tragic death. Basically, I think it's a release for him, so I wasn't sad. It feels like a punctuation mark.
You interviewed him for your book, which was published in 2016. When you think back to that interview, what stands out the most to you about the kind of guy that he was?
He was so down home. I interviewed him in his office in the Carter Center in Atlanta. And I mean, it was so much more modest than my modest living room. It was really, and he was just relaxed and really smart. He remembered things really accurately, which a lot of people, when you interview them, try their best, but when you go back and you check the record, they've got things a bit muddled. He didn't. And just really gracious with his time.
Some of the international challenges that Carter faced really in the 1970s look quite similar in some ways to what we are seeing today. Of course, one of Carter's big achievements was signing the Camp David Accords, a peace agreement between Israel and Egypt. He led the U.S. during the Cold War when the Soviet Union was still intact. Now we fast forward 50 years. We have war in the Middle East. We have war involving Russia. Is there something to explore here about how Carter's policies have shaped or influenced the policies of today or what's going on today?
Well, there's no question but that Carter's policies have influenced what's going on today. Certainly the Camp David Accords, if Egypt were still a belligerent, and without the Camp David Accords, it would be. The Middle East would be in a very different situation today. I can't predict what it would be, but it would be in a very different situation. There would have been, I think, you can never be sure in history, but there would have been another major Arab-Israeli war. And I think if you look at his foreign policy in terms of dealing with the Soviet Union, in terms of dealing with the Middle East, in terms of dealing with Panama, and also in terms of dealing with Africa, which is what I focused on, and China, it was really a remarkably busy and successful 4 years.
Yeah. Over the last couple of days, so many people have been weighing in about the presidency. I want to play a quick clip. This is from 1997, and this is when Carter talked with Larry King about his legacy.
The things that a lot of people remember about me is I was not reelected for a second term.
What's your own legacy, do you think?
Well, I kept our country at peace. I never sent a soldier into battle. I never bombed anybody. I negotiated peace for other people, like in the Mideast and Zimbabwe. And I promoted human rights to the utmost of my ability. So if people 100 years from now remember me, I would like for them to connect peace and human rights to my name.
So you were talking about how his perception, people's perception of him is going to change over time. When you hear that, what's your reaction? Do you think that is his legacy, or is it something different?
I hope it's his legacy. I think it's the truth. And I hope that people looking back on his presidency don't emphasize that it was a one-term presidency, but emphasize that he stood for morality, he stood for human rights, he stood for decency. But I think he should be remembered as a decent man and as a a president in an incredibly difficult time period. The late 70s, no matter who had been president, it would have been a really tough time period.
Nancy Mitchell, thank you so much for being here.
It was my pleasure. Thanks, Ashley.
An interesting look at a great president. So thank you to Ashley. Let's take a look at the forecast, because this is a big one. People are going to be out there tomorrow night. Ashley and I will both be downtown ringing in the new year with everybody, so I'm paying close attention.
Yeah, a few spotty showers. You probably won't see any rain, but I'll be back here inside in the warmth and the dryness, tracking the rain with a live dual Doppler 5000 radar. 40% chance for 3 important hours, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock with the first acorn drop, 8 o'clock, and then by midnight, the second acorn drop. The weather will be dry. Certainly won't be cold. We're expecting about 68 for our high tomorrow. It will be breezy. Heading into the evening, temperatures dip into the 50s. The first acorn drop about 57, certainly not cold, and the acorn drop at about midnight, 51. Won't be cold at all. Now, if you head up to Times Square tomorrow, they'll have about 51 for their ball drop, but it will be a soaking rain that's expected up there, maybe even a thunderstorm. Now, today's high was 66 out at RDU. Tomorrow, we expect about 68. It's the final mild day that we'll see for a long time. January is just looking ice cold, especially as we get into the 7th through the 13th time period, when we could be looking at temperatures similar to what we had back in January 2018, when we had single-digit lows. That's a possibility I'm seeing right now, and we'll see if it actually pans out. 53 at RDU, 42 is the dew point, so it's a mild evening in progress. 45 at Roxborough, 47 at Rocky Mount, 51 in Fayetteville. Our normal low is about 33. We'll be about 10 degrees above that tonight. By midnight, we're looking at 47. Tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., 43. So if you're out early doing your dog walk or maybe running to get some exercise, it'll be a little bit chilly, but certainly won't be cold. Now, here's the game changer. It's a front that will bring in a first bout of cool air. So initially, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will have highs in the 50s. There'll be a secondary front that comes in bringing 40s for highs Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And the next opportunity for soaking rain looks like it could be Sunday night. So for the day tomorrow, we'll wake up to perhaps some low clouds and fog in spots. That'll quickly burn off, mostly sunny at lunchtime. The better part of the day is dry. Look at 4 o'clock, looking at partly cloudy skies. There are our showers. And you can see on this most reliable high-resolution version of Futurecast showing the spotty areas of rain. 7 o'clock in the evening, by 8 o'clock tomorrow evening, 9 o'clock, you can see the spotty nature of the showers. So it's likely a whole lot of us won't see any rain. And by 11 o'clock tomorrow night, it's likely to be dry with some snow showers coming down in the mountains. So it's chilly tonight, but certainly not cold. 39 at Roxborough to 43 here in Raleigh, 44 Fayetteville, 43 in Goldsboro. And then tomorrow's highs, very warm once again, perhaps warmer than the 66 we had today. 68 in Raleigh, 70 in Fayetteville, 65 in Roxborough. 7-day forecast. We transition back into colder air. 55 on Wednesday, 51 on Thursday, 53 on Friday. Brand new model data just came in, suggests we could see some sprinkles on Friday. So I popped in a 20% chance of rain now for Friday. Sunday and Monday rain, especially Sunday night with about a 50% chance, and it turns far colder too.
All righty. Thank you, Mike. Everybody gets excited about the ball drop. Forget the ball. We've got acorns, pickles, fleas, pirates, blueberries. North Carolina drops a lot of weird stuff on New Year's Eve. And we're going to walk you through a few of them next. And in tonight's One Last Thing, some parting words from President Jimmy Carter. We're back in about 2 minutes. Hey, what are you doing tomorrow night? Come hang out with us. Ring in the new year with WRAL from downtown Raleigh. Ashley and I will be down there bringing you all the fun and excitement from the state's largest New Year's Eve celebration.
Yeah, we're going to have live coverage on Fox 50 and WRAL starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. And hey, join us at 7 o'clock tomorrow as well for the acorn drop in Raleigh, especially if you've got young kiddos at home. This would be a good chance for them to be able to take in the fireworks and whatnot.
It's a great family edition.
Yeah.
And we are starting the newscast a little early, so you've got some time to tune in if you'd like. There will also be some fireworks, as we were saying. Now, of course, the acorn drop is just one of many unique New Year's Eve drops in North Carolina. There's also the blueberry drop in Burgaw, the pickle drop in Mount Olive, the egg drop in Nashville, and new this year, the catfish drop in Vance County. I like it.
And it doesn't stop there. There are other drops around the state. So let's start in our area. In Cumberland County, in the town of Eastover, they do a flea drop. The flea is made of wood, and a reminder of the town's history when it was known as Flea Hill.
It also looks terrified being dropped there. Over the coast in Beaufort, they have the Pirate Plunge. A pirate walks the plank above the Beaufort docks and takes a cold dive into Taylor's Creek. Then you move down the road to Morehead City. They have the Crab Pot Drop. It's exactly what it sounds like, a decorated crab trap dropping to ring in the new year.
And out near Charlotte in Lincolnton, you've got the Apple Drop. The town is known for its apple orchards. That's a nice, pretty apple. The celebration is even more special this year because the Cherryville Shooters will be there. Do you know what the Cherryville Shooters are? Give them a Google search if you aren't sure what I'm talking about.
One last thing before we go tonight, and this is on a bit more of a serious note. We all know former President Jimmy Carter died over the weekend. We've talked a lot about his legacy. We should also talk about what we can learn from him.
But instead of talking, let's listen. Tonight, we leave you with a clip from Carter's farewell address when he left the White House in 1981. As we say goodbye to him, here were his words when he said goodbye to you.
Thank you for joining us here at 7 o'clock. Have a great night.
America did not invent human rights. In a very real sense, it's the other way around. Human rights invented America. Ours was the first nation in the history of the world to be founded explicitly on such an idea. Our social and political progress has been based on one fundamental principle: the value and importance of the individual. The fundamental force that unites us is not kinship or place of origin or religious preference. The love of liberty is a common blood that flows in our American veins. The battle for human rights at home and abroad is far from over.